Hi, this is Dr. Karnik with New Science Academy. This is our second session of the 3 sessions for mole. Let's do a quick recap of our previous session. We saw that a mole of anything equals 6.023 times 10 to the 23rd in number of that particular particle. We also know that mole is a term coined by chemists to determine the quantity or the amount of that particular substance. So in today's session, we are going to be looking at what is the weight of 1 mole of a substance. Now, whenever you're talking about weights, you always think about weighing scales. So if I have to find 1 mole of carbon atoms, how much does it weigh? I know that it is 6.023 times 10 to the 23rd number of carbon atoms, but I do not use a weighing scale to look at the weight of 1 mole of carbon atoms. When we go to our chemistry class, we don't take weighing scales with us. Instead, we take a periodic table. And there is a reason why. If we look at atomic mass, which is basically the mass of any atom, it is the number of protons and neutrons that are present inside that particular atom. If you look at a periodic table has atomic mass of every element recorded on it. Since we have the weight of every element on it, we are going to treat this periodic table as our weighing scale, and we will be referring to the periodic table whenever we have to do any kind of conversions that require finding out grams or atomic mass units. So let's look at a periodic table. Over here, if I'm looking at element carbon, I know that the atomic weight of carbon is 12.011 atomic mass units or 12.011 grams per mole of carbon. Same is the case with oxygen or with phosphorus, manganese, magnesium. These are few of the elements that I have recorded here. But then you can look up any element on the periodic table and you would be able to tell what is the weight of 1 mole of that particular element, just looking at its atomic mass on the periodic table. So now we know that whenever we want to look at a mole, weight in mole of anything, we'll look at the periodic table, and for example in carbon we will say it's 12.011 atomic mass units or 12.011 grams per mole of carbon. But now if you're solving any kind of questions on your exams, they are not just going to ask us about a single atom, what is the atomic mass of this particular atom. They are usually going to ask us, what is the molecular weight of 1 mole of water? So we will be dealing mostly with molecules. So let's see how we are going to solve for questions where we have a molecule and we are asked to find the molecular weight of 1 mole, or it's also called as molar mass of water. Whenever you have questions like this, the first step you want to do is dissect the molecule. See what this molecule is made up of. You will know that in this case, water molecule is made up of 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. How do I know that? Well, here in H2O, I know this subscript 2 is the one right in front of hydrogen, which means that there are 2 of hydrogen and oxygen doesn't have any subscript here, which means that there is only 1 atom of that particular element. So now with this information, I'm going to go to my weighing scale, which is the periodic table, and I'll pull out what is the atomic mass of hydrogen and the atomic mass of oxygen. Record it, and then I'm going to look for what is going to be the atomic mass if I have 2 parts of hydrogen. As you can see in water molecule, there are 2 parts of hydrogen, and therefore I'll find that 2 atoms of hydrogen will weigh 2 times 1.008 grams, which is 2.016 grams. Then all I have to do is put it all together. put the weight of hydrogen and oxygen together to find the molar mass of water. And therefore, the molecular weight of 1 mole of water, or the molar mass of water, is 18.015 grams. Let's solve another question. Now, before we solve the question, let's not forget 2 important steps here. The first step was to look into how many atoms are present in that particular molecule of each element. That was the first important step. And the second important step was go to the periodic table to look into the grams of that particular element. All right, we are ready for our next question now. What is the molar mass of C6H12O6? That's a big molecule. Or the other way to ask this question would be, how many grams in a mole of C6H12O6? So our first thing is, we are going to record down what is given and what is asked. So we know that here they have given us moles. They have told us there is 1 mole, and they're asking us how many grams. So this is the thought process we are going to go from mole to grams. And we know whenever it comes to grams, we are going to take the periodic table help. So let's do our first step of C6H12O6, dissecting it all out. We know that C has 6 atoms, hydrogen 12, and oxygen 6. So we record that down first. Next step, we are going to go to periodic table and find out carbon atomic mass is 12.011 gram. In this case, we have 6C, therefore 6 times 12.011. We record it down. We follow the same steps for hydrogen as well as oxygen. And then all we have to do is add it all up. And we know the molar mass of C6H12O6 is 18.156 grams. Let's look at the other type of questions that can get asked. The question could be, how many moles are in 42 grams of water? Now in this case, they have given us grams, and we have to get our thought process to moles. So from grams, we know the grams is always with the periodic table, and we have to find moles. So first, let's see what relationship can we find out using the periodic table. So we know that 1 mole of anything, when you want to find out, just go to the periodic table, add up all the atoms in that molecule, and you know that 1 mole of that particular thing is going to weigh these many grams. We do this step, 1 mole of water, we multiply 2 with the atomic mass of hydrogen, add it up with 1 oxygen molecule atomic mass, and we find the molar mass, which is 18.015 gram of water molecule. Good start. So now we have weight in grams for 1 mole of water. So we know that 18.015 grams of water equals 1 mole of water. They're asking us about 42 grams. So 42 grams of water is how many moles of water? Simple mathematical equation. We put it all together and we know that it's going to be 2.33 moles of water. So now to summarize, if you want to find the relationship between the grams and mole of any substance, we know that we will need the help of the periodic table. Now, if they're just asking us the mass of 1 mole of any atom, it's very easy. Just go to the periodic table, look at the atomic mass, and you would be able to report what is going to be the weight for 1 mole of a particular atom. If it is a molecule, well, there is just one additional step. We'll have to dissect the molecule, find the total number of atoms for each element, find the atomic mass for every atom, add it all up, and we would be able to tell the molecular mass. And therefore, 1 mole of a molecule, the weight is going to be the addition of weights of atoms in that particular molecule. So now that we know this concept, now that we know how to find the grams from mole, or how to find how many grams are in a mole, let's solve a couple questions and lock in that concept. I would really appreciate you giving this a try, and please email me or write down the answer in the comment section, and I would be happy to give you a feedback. Also, I'm looking forward to our last session, and this session is going to be connecting all these different concepts together to solve these super complicated questions on moles. We are going to make it really easy to understand. See you then. Bye.